Child-free, 28M, versus wanting kids, 30F, long-term relationship, marriage, and growing resentment. I don't see a way forward. Been with my wife for 10 years. I've always been firmly child-free. She initially agreed but has always wanted kids deep down. We had an accidental pregnancy, chose not to continue it, and it affected her a lot. Now she resents me, the topic keeps coming up, and it leads to repeated fights. We love each other and have a strong relationship otherwise, but this is a fundamental mismatch with no clear compromise, and I don't see a way forward. I'm a man in my late 20s, and my wife is around the same age. We've been together for close to a decade and married for a couple of years. From very early on in the relationship, I was clear that I didn't want children. At the time, we were both young, and she said she was okay with that. Over time, though, I realized that she did have a desire to be a parent. She would sometimes say that logically she understands the responsibilities and sacrifices involved, and that maybe it's better not to have kids. But emotionally, I don't think that feeling ever really went away for her. This has come up multiple times over the years. Sometimes she would say she chooses me over having kids. Other times she would revisit the topic and hope I might change my mind. I never did. My stance has been consistent: I don't want to be a father. I've always felt that it's better to not have kids than to have them and not fully want that life. There was also a phase early on where she assumed I might eventually change my mind. That didn't happen. At one point, she mentioned that even if she agrees in theory to not having kids, she wouldn't be comfortable with ending a pregnancy if it ever happened. Eventually, we faced an unplanned pregnancy. It was a very difficult time. She had mixed emotions, at times hopeful, at times overwhelmed. I was very clear that I wasn't ready or willing to become a parent. She said she couldn't go through with it alone. We ultimately decided not to continue with the pregnancy. That experience affected her deeply, and it took a long time for her to feel somewhat normal again. Around that same period, external family pressure and circumstances led to us getting married sooner than we had originally planned. In most other aspects, our relationship is strong. We're close, we understand each other well, and we've built a life together. But this one issue keeps coming back. Recently, she's expressed that she feels a lot of resentment toward me. She feels like I've let her down in a major way. From her perspective, I'm denying her something she's always wanted. We still have recurring conflicts about this. She sometimes tries to revisit the conversation, and I still don't feel any differently. That leads to emotional arguments, both of us getting hurt, and things escalating more than they should. At this point, I feel stuck. I don't see a clear solution where both of us are genuinely okay. The idea of separating feels unbearable. We've spent most of our adult lives together. At the same time, I can't ignore that this difference isn't going away. I also carry a lot of guilt about not being able to give her something that clearly matters deeply to her. I don't know what the right thing to do is anymore, or how to approach this without causing more damage to both of us. I, 41M, am at a crossroads with my wife, 32F, who has started to change her mind about parenthood. Hello friends. I've, 41M, been struggling lately because my wife, 32F, of 3 years has developed a deep longing to have a child after a loss of an accidental pregnancy this past year. Before we were married I was pretty much certain I did not want children, which I communicated to her. We have stable lives, jobs, a house, etc., so there's no issue there, but the idea of being a father has never appealed to me apart from coming up with interesting names and the occasional passing fancy. My own father regretted having kids and let me know via abuse and alcoholism, and, while I know I would handle it differently, I am not sure I am cut out for fatherhood. I feel as though I still have so much to do in life, and I've always told myself that my work in the world would essentially take the place of whatever offspring I might have had. However, I still occasionally toy with the idea of dancing with a child, singing to it, watching it grow up, and giving it a good life with the woman I love. I fear that I'm choosing an easy life over giving our love to something greater, and that having a child could be an adventure. I still have an inherent aversion to fatherhood and struggle to imagine how I could actually enjoy constant nurturing and having another living being in my home. I hate being the architect of my wife's despair through my unwillingness to start a family. I hate seeing her sad, struggling despite her statements to the contrary, with whether she wants to continue to have a life with me. She says she would never ask me to do something I didn't want to do, especially when it's something so grave as becoming a parent, but I can see it's breaking her heart knowing she would have to go through the rest of her life never having become a mother. It's killing me. I don't know what kind of father I would be, but I know I'd be better and kinder than my own. I've never given it much thought as I've always sort of accepted I would never be one. I have scheduled a vasectomy but am feeling conflicted on moving forward with it. I ask, then, to you guys who never wanted the role but found yourselves thrown to the wolves so to speak, how did you deal with it? TL/DR, my wife has started to change her mind about parenthood, and I'm unsure how to settle my own feelings on the matter. My close friend, 28F, is dating a guy 29M I can't stand, and I don't know how to move forward with the situation. One of my good friends, Brooke, is dating a guy I can't stand. Brooke got married in 2020 to Todd, and he died of cancer a few months later. It was extremely sad and tragic as he was very young, mid-20s. Todd was best friends with Alex, and Alex told Todd right before he died that he would take care of Brooke. A few months later, Brooke and Alex started hooking up. A few months after that, Alex ghosted Brooke and started dating another girl. She was extremely upset, but everyone was kind of glad it was over because it was weird for our group of friends. Alex told his new girlfriend that he had to continue to talk to Brooke because she was in a bad emotional state, and at one point called her suicidal, which was not true, and the new girlfriend did not like this, obviously. He was super sketchy their whole relationship. Fast forward about a year. Brooke had not talked to Alex for probably 6 months, but when Alex broke up with the new girlfriend, the girlfriend and Brooke talked about Alex for months. Brooke complained to me about this, even though she was the one talking to her, and complained about how much Alex sucked. It was honestly crazy. A few months later, Brooke and Alex start dating again in secret. She lied to me about it even when I asked her point blank if they were dating, and I got mad. We've had multiple conversations about the lying part of it, and I decided to get over it BC we have so much history. Now, she expects me to act like nothing happened and wants us to hang out all the time, and I can't stand him and honestly question her character in all of this. I don't know what to do or how to move forward. TL/DR, my close friend started hooking up with her husband's best friend shortly after he died, got ghosted by him, spent months trashing him, then secretly got back together with him and lied to me about it when I asked directly. I eventually tried to move past the lying because of our long friendship, but now she expects me to be totally normal about their relationship even though I can't stand him and honestly see her differently now. My girlfriend, 21W, thinks I'm, 24M, too passive because I don't confront people. Is this a red flag or am I in the wrong? Me and my girlfriend have been dating for 2 years now and we've been having an ongoing issue about how I handle situations where someone is rude or dismissive. I was on a call with a leasing agent recently and she was kind of rude and dismissive when I asked questions. Nothing crazy, just a bit of an attitude. I didn't react, stayed calm and moved on. I got all the answers I needed on the phone with her. It was obvious she just hated her job and was miserable. It's not something that personally affected me. Later, my girlfriend told me that was unattractive and that I should have fired back or said something witty. She said she doesn't want to date a guy who's passive and that it's more masculine when a man stands up for himself, and her, in those moments. This isn't the first time this has come up. A while back at a restaurant, a chef was giving her dirty looks. I noticed it too and instead of making a scene, I spoke to the head chef about it calmly. That chef stopped looking at her after I spoke to the head chef. She later told me I was too nice and should have confronted the guy directly. From my point of view, I feel like handled both situations fine. I don't see the point in escalating small things with strangers. I'd rather stay calm and either address it professionally or just remove myself. I don't think snapping back or being confrontational proves anything. From her point of view, not reacting equals being passive. She wants me to push back in the moment. She says it makes her feel like I won't stand up for her. Another factor is she's really sensitive, especially sensitive to tone and how people act. Small things like someone's attitude or even a look can really bother her, whereas I honestly don't care about stuff like that. Would you consider this a red flag or just a difference in personalities? From my perspective, I don't think it's worth escalating small situations with strangers. I'd rather stay calm, address things in a controlled way, or remove myself from the situation. I'm not sure if this is also a compatibility issue because the relationship isn't sustainable if she keeps saying I'm not masculine when these situations come up. I can't really change my personality or how I am in these sorts of situations either. I'm not really sure how to go about this. TLDR. My girlfriend thinks I am too passive in certain situations, whereas these situations don't bother me. She's mentioned this affects her attraction towards me. Is this a red flag or just incompatibility?